This is round 11, the fourth to last race of the season for Tier 2 in Exotic Racing Series, also is known as the ERS League. We are in Melbourne, the Albert Park circuit. This is the Australian Grand Prix. The length is 5.303 kilometers or 3.288 miles. We will do 29 laps around the track today. 16 corners, 6 to the left, 10 to the right. Melbourne was the capital of Australia from 1901 to 1927 as Sooty gets disqualified with Phil, so they probably made contact of some sort. Only 2.5 meter elevations throughout the whole track, so not that much of an elevation for drivers to deal with. Obviously, we are in the game, so even if there is a 250 meter elevation, it wouldn't have mattered. But Crico is on pole alongside his teammate Damon, who is the current championship leader. And can Alberto Perez actually get into the car before the lights go out as the 5 red lights, they're coming on? As someone has jumped the start completely, that is Carras. He's gone so far ahead of everyone, he's literally gone. So Carras leads after the jump start, but we are looking into turn 1 as Damon quickly pulls into it and Britton has bumped. Britton has made contact with Abstract and both of them have spun out after turn 1. A terrible start for the driver that are currently 4th and 5th in the championship as Avalanche goes side by side with his teammate, and we have another spin. George has been taken out in turn 3. It's been a very chaotic start of the race, and the timing tower on the left is going crazily because Carras is apparently down into last position again as Alberto Perez, I think, is back in control of his car, but is going very gingerly as Shane is also back in the car and he has improved by 11 positions because his AI took the control of the start, and the AI normally gets a jump start compared to everyone else who has to wait as Altibus, I think, made a mistake coming out of turn 7 and LEC had put them in the wall completely and Phil has spun behind them. I don't know what else I should say or could say because my eyes are not fast enough, nor is my mouth, as Abstract has had another spin with actually that's Phil still at the back of the grid. Carras has lost part of his front wing and the virtual safety car is finally out to calm things down.
Cher just said that Carras was desynced. He was not there for them.
That's why we saw Carras completely jump the start, and I think he has a penalty of 3 seconds. So he didn't actually jump the start because he is apparently now last. As Spicy pits, does he have damage? He does, so he has to fix his front wing as we go green flag again.
Jordan's going for an overtake on Sooty.
As Dank goes around the outside of LEC, who's lost his left part of his front wing and is going very dangerously slowly on the track because he's crashed into the wall because there's literally no front downforce. He has to let everyone pass now. He's still trying to rejoin the track, but he couldn't stop his car for his life as George and Sooty both fly past him as LEC causes the yellow flag in P14. So the nice starting position as Dank makes a huge mistake coming out of turn. Why is he going so slowly? Oh, he's lost his right part of the end plate. So I assume as Crico has done something wrong. Crico has had a half spin. Yes, Crico has fully spun. He's lost his end plate on the right. He has to pit.
Oh no. Did he push it too much? Because that was not really needed at that moment.
As Alberto Perez is right on the back of Ruff, he's going to the inside and Ruff is not leaving him any space at all. Ruff is turning in and he's turned Alberto Perez around. So,
seen that one.
Like we said, or like Randall said, as they're going side by side for fifths, Shane is on the outside of Morph. Morph will never back out as we know, but Shane goes around the outside of turn 3. That is a brilliant move as George goes down the inside of Darryl into turn 3. They're going side by side, but George is on the better racing line and Darryl backs out of it into turn 4. So as Randall says in the chat, there will be a huge, and I mean a huge amount of stewarding that you guys probably need to do because we have seen Quite a huge amount of contact so far, as Prison now is right on the back of Morph and Shane because of the Ferrari and Renault battling very hard. Because the person that started P3 is on the back of this train as Morph gets a terrible exit coming out of the final corner. Surely this is Prison's chance. Morph is deploying all of his overtake. Prison is deploying all of his overtake. Prison is going down to the inside of turn 1. He will take a warning for that, I'm pretty sure about that, as Avalanche gets past Pucci coming around. Coming out of turn 2 because he is also on the soft tires. Pucci, incidentally, started from P11 on the medium tires. It's now up into P4, but he goes very wide now, coming out of turn 4, and Shane almost went into the back of him for the AlphaTauri driver after a horrid. Oh, as Shane has left the session again, or he's disconnected somewhat. He's completely ghosted through Britton, or Britton has completely ghosted through him. But Britain has taken advantage and he's left the session. As we have a fight for P4, Shane going down the inside of Pucci into turn 1, and he goes really wide, coming out of the corner. Pucci will try to fight back, and Britain is literally in the worst possible position with the two guys in front of him going side by side into turn 3. Britain tries for the cutback, Pucci get a terrible run coming out of the corner, and he completely turned into the path of Britain, and he's crashed into the wall himself and put Britain on the curb, which means Britain could not get off the curb, and both of them have lost a ton of time compared to Shane and Avalanche up ahead.
Yeah, I've seen what happened with Pucci. He tried to keep it clean and stay on the inside curb, but that pushed him to the outside.
Yep. Coming out of turn 2, Avalanche literally sliding. These soft tires must be feeling it right now because we are on lap 8 as Shane deploys his final bit of overtake and dives down the inside into turn 3. A clean move this time from Shane in the Renault. Because more time that he lost behind Pucci, as Pucci takes a terrible line into turn 11, as Blizzard, because of dirty air, gets out of shape out of turn 12, but Pucci doesn't have the left front end play. That means Blizzard does go around the outside of turn 13 and takes that P5 position away from Pucci, and Pucci is struggling now because his front wing damage is it's going to feel terrible for the Mercedes driver. They all pit. So Blizzard has peeled off into the pits, so has Avalanche and Ruff, but Damon has decided to carry on because he was the leader and still is the leader as Alberto Perez challenges Pucci down the inside into turn 1. Pucci is holding around the outside, but he doesn't have the grip, he doesn't have the downforce because of the front wing damage, but he has got more overtake to use, but he should back off because he's on the medium tires and on a damaged car, so he really shouldn't fight that position, and he didn't. Oh, Ruff picks up a 3-second penalty because he got passed by Krico. And Ruff is on medium tires on lap 9. Surely that's a 2-stop.
That must be here.
Because the mediums can go probably 19, somewhere is in the gravel, that is Kikas. Where is he? He's gone so far off into the gravel that I'm a bit shocked. So he is the first one, and the virtual safety car is out, which helps Damon even more. So, oh my goodness, Dank's wheel has come off after turn 12 as the DRS gets enabled again because we're under green flag condition again. So 15 drivers lap with, I think Haras is on his new wheel, right? That's why he's struggling.
Oh, and Ruff bent it.
Yes, he did. So, does he have damage? Yes,
yeah,
he has.
Right front end plate.
So Spicy hasn't pitted, but he's already a pit stop behind both Krico and Damon. But the problem is, can Krico's tires go to the end of the race as Avalanche is about to send one down the inside into turn 3 on Britain, but Britain fends him off perfectly around the outside on the racing line. So Britain is in a net. Oh, as Avalanche goes really wide with Britain's dirty air. And Ruff is now challenging Daryl with a damaged car because Daryl is still on those 10-lap-old soft tires. They must be at least 70% now. To Alberto Perez, who is going down the inside of Avalanche into turn 1. And Avalanche has only 10% of ERS to fight, so he has nothing to fight. But Alberto Perez goes really wide. Yeah, but Alberto Perez goes really wide coming out of turn 1, but the problem with this track is if you get the DRS on the start-finish straight, you get DRS again coming out of turn 2. there's no chance for the guy behind to fight back, unlike in Bahrain, where the guy behind may get DRS coming out of turn 3 into turn 4. So it's effectively a double DRS zone for the driver behind coming out of the final corner. It's really interesting because Shane and Morph are both the leaders of the race, and Shane has a red cross on top of his name tag again, and he's left the shit. P10 as George dives down the inside of Avalanche into turn 8 and took the position away. Very aggressive. And now Abstract actually is on the outside of Avalanche and also taking the position away. As we have a yellow flag for probably Karas spinning again, Damon is on the back of Morph trying to take the lead of the race. Morph once again is using his overtake to a person that he shouldn't really be fighting for another set of mediums, I think? Yes, he does. He could also be one to watch out for, but he will be very behind the queue because he also got caught out in the lap 1 shenanigans as Britain has spun and lost his front wing. So Shane is now on the back of this train. He is trying to get past Avalanche, who's not using his overtake, which could be a mistake because Shane is coming with the speed of a rocket at the... They made contact into the corner, but
he pushed Avalanche wide. Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's more of a racing incident in my opinion. It was a bit of a dive bomb, but Avalanche did leave the door completely open. And Shane needs to get past Abstract as soon as possible. Is he gonna send one again into turn 3? The speed difference is massive! And Abstract left the door open. This time Shane does it cleanly without any contact.
Yeah, Avalanche should catch up pretty quickly. Yep.
Oh, he's standing one. He's standing one into turn 9 and he's not left a lot of space for Abstract on the exit, and Abstract is struggling on those very old mediums now. But, oh, George lost it. Coming out of the final, or the penultimate corner, not the fight because they all have penalties as Spicy, oh no, he's past Avalanche, but he's gone really wide into turn 13. The good news for him is Avalanche did back off on the exit, and we have a fight for P12. Avalanche coming out of the pits, going down the inside of Darrow and making the position his. And yellow flag in turn, oh no, Ruff has spun. Okay. This has changed the dynamic again because Brizzy himself is now up into P9 and Ruff will have to pit again because of wing damage. So potentially P2 at the end of lap 5 is going to be a non-scoring performance for Ruff, the reserve.
Yep.
They almost went into the car in front, all of them, as After gets a brilliant exit. Coming out of turn 5 and going down the inside of turn 6, but has to leave Britain room on the outside, and this is music to the ears for Pucci because he had pulled away by 0.8 of a second. And Shane is deploying all of his overtake, trying to dive bomb George, and he's dive bombing George, and George does see him coming, and George has scared Shane into the wall, and Spicy going down the inside of turn 6 over George. That's not really a good overtaking spot. Morph is joining the fight, and we have a fight for P8 as well. This is two different trains as Abstract sends it down the inside of Pucci, actually, because Brizzy has already passed Pucci, but Abstract completely missing his braking point into turn 3 has had to give that position back to Pucci, and also this means Avalanche behind him is also closing in, but Pucci picks up a 3-second penalty trying to retaliate on Brizzy, and we have a fight for P4, heating up again, 4 cars, the Mercedes, the Red Bull, the Renault, the Ferrari, all in the same train, and Morph with the freshest tires can't do anything at the back of this DRS train. And Pucci is had a terrible run through turn 11 and 12. Abstract deploying his overtake, going down the inside of Pucci into turn 13, and he does make the move stick. And we have a fight for P4 now. Spicy is down the inside of George into turn 1 and makes that move stick. So Spicy now needs to stretch away by quite a big margin in the next 5 laps. But he does have a 5-lap fresher tire compared to George behind him. And if George can hold up Shane and Morph behind him, Spicy might be able to pull up a decent gap. But 6 seconds is a bit too much in it to defend against Abstract, who incidentally I believe also has 6 seconds of penalties. Yes, he does. So this is an effective fight for P8 because both of them have the same amount of penalties. Oh, as the Abstract has lost it, coming out of turn 12. So he has spun out of the contention, because Avalanche has gone past into P9 and Pucci is now back into the points in P10 as Morph is charging down the inside of Shane into turn 1 and he makes the move stick, cutting the turn
Nice
1
move there
apex
from Morph.
absolutely perfectly, but Shane will have the better run, but Shane is not using his DRS even if he can use it, which I don't know why.
He's empty on ERS, and Morph was behind him on the detection zone.
But Shane's DRS symbol on the bottom right was flashing on my screen as Avalanche has passed Britain out of nowhere. So the Ferrari driver who was P11 about 4 laps ago is now up into P8. Jord has got a penalty that is crucial for Spicy because he only needs to stretch out a 3-second gap to Jord to secure at least a position in front of Jord. This is action pack everywhere you look as Avalanche has lost it coming out of turn 12. But he saved it. What a massive save for the Ferrari driver. Again, the penalty situation, Spicy has 6 seconds. He only needs to pull a 3-second gap to George, and that gap has increased from 5/10 to 2.2 seconds in the last 2 laps. And this could help Spicy depending on where he catches him, because if he catches him here, he's going to get held up through the high-speed corners, which he does a little bit, but he's going to get such a better exit. Oh, that's a perfect exit from Spicy, and he is like a tiger, seeing his food in front of him and also already passing Alberto Perez into turn 13. So the Red Bull driver is up into P3 on track, and he has pulled away by 3 seconds over George. Depending on how Avalanche has gone massively wide into turn 5, which means he probably won't challenge Britain. And we are on the final lap of the race as Damon rounds out the final corner to win a very, very uneventful race for him, but a terrific win to almost secure his title, I would imagine, with only 3 races left. Crico doing 26 laps on the hard, finishing P2 and catching Damon in the final stages of the race. A brilliant 1-2 for the Alfa Romeo. Well, Spicy will cross the line in P3. Who's actually gonna get P3? Alberto Perez, obviously. Where's Jordan? Where's Morph? Morph gets P4.
Wow.
With the
Morph the
alternative
one
strategy. He did the medium to soft, like I said before the race, that can be very fast as Britain is literally don't even left there. Avalanche is doing the same. And Avalanche
Prison goes back.
Yep, Avalanche does finish in P8 because, oh actually he finishes P9 because he has 21 seconds of penalties as Pucci destroys the car of Britain and finishes also ahead of Avalanche because of penalties. As Daryl is the last one to come across the line to finish on the lead lap in P11 with every single car in front of him parked on the start-finish straight.
Wow, that race was a pretty big mess.
But a brilliant win from Damon, which will give him 157 points in the championship. Spicy, after the penalties, finishing P5, which will give him 113. And Crico with their second place also gives him 113 points. So Damon leads the championship by 44 points, with possibly 78 points in the next 3 races to go. But we have a tied second place on our hands, both on 113 points with Spicy and Crico. Britain finishes in P8, that will give him 4 points. Abstract finishes nowhere, so he's on 74, which means Flava or Alberto Perez is only 2 points behind Abstract for P5 in the championship. But a shout out to Morph, who finishes P4 after starting from P13. The medium to soft works like a treat for the Ferrari driver. George finishing in P6 with Shane, Britain, Pucci, Avalanche, Darrow, Aussie Buzz, Karas, Abstract, Ruff, Dank, Sooty, Kigas, LEC, and Phil.